The stock of the day is brought to you by IG, Australia's #1 CFD provider. With over 17,000 markets and extended trading hours, turn US earnings season volatility into opportunity. Get started at IG.com.
So this week we've been asking our experts for stocks they would pick in these times of heightened volatility for that opportunity. Well, plenty of places to look, it would seem, and we've come up with two today. CSL and WiseTech obviously moving directly in response to what we're seeing, particularly from those tariff announcements. So let's get into it. First with CSL, blood plasma. Look, also there's that threat, I guess, more broadly with perhaps potential tariffs on pharmaceuticals, see how it may potentially impact that company as well. Mark, what are you seeing with CSL, given how far it has fallen too?
Yeah, look, the analysts' expectation of somewhere around the $320 to $330 mark. And this has just been a real victim of the scaremongering, basically. If you're reading through the Fin Review, etc., you're looking at it, they're making it out like all of their revenue is exposed, basically. And when you're talking about blood plasma, they're 30 to 40% of the total market in the world. It comes out of one place in Melbourne. So you've really got a situation where, you know, in healthcare, they're going to pay people. That's where there's the most price elasticity, is because it's their needs, not wants, right? So, if we're talking, you know, luxury handbags, sure, there's going to be a massive difference because you can go without. But healthcare is one of those sectors where defence, you know, in these sorts of downturns, some of them will have quite high PEs, and that's where, you know, you in the initial downturn, which is what we're getting at the moment, you'll get hit. But I mean, they've got really healthy profit conversion, net margins nearly at 20%. Everyone's expecting them to have at least 12% revenue growth over the next year. You know, flu season's a bit of a thing for them as well, but I think this is just a perfect situation where, and I mean, CSL hasn't rallied since 2020, so I think we're long overdue a rally in this stock, and I think you can buy this with a fair bit of surety around it. So we've been buying. I think we bought. Might have been, it's hard to remember now, probably Wednesday was it, and then we bought again for those who missed out because it bounced to $250 yesterday. I mean, for those who missed out, we're buying again today, basically with limit orders there. But yeah, and the other stock of the day as well, which Ben's got, is WiseTech, and again, like the price action shown in that stock, when the Nasdaq was down, I think 9 to 10 or 11%, if you combine the futures and the Friday night move, WiseTech finished up on the day, which really tells me that it's probably the sellers are gassed, basically. So, and even today, only down 2%. The Nasdaq was down 4%, and then the futures have gone down again. The bad news has been pretty consistent for WiseTech for 3 or 4 months. That, you know, same sort of thing there. So buying
and would WiseTech potentially benefit from, obviously the new trade agreements are going to have to be formed, aren't they? So is that I'd rather leave that to Ben to probably answer, but I would imagine so. Yeah. Yeah. All right. Well, Ben, let's start with WiseTech then, as far as you're concerned.
Yeah. So look, it could be a beneficiary and it could get hit a bit. There is a bit of a correlation to the amount of movement of parcels that go through the CargoWise platform, how many seats the customers, which are like FedEx and DHL, are using. So if we saw like a freeze in trade, that will have somewhat of an impact on them. Not huge, but it will have an impact. The flip side is trade is going to become more complex. Like I still can't work out how the United States is going to know that this container ship has come from China and this one hasn't, and how they were thinking that they were going to know each container, which every single country it was coming from, what the value of the goods in it and what sort of tariff to apply and how to collect it, and
particularly given customs will be another victim too of the number of jobs have been slashed there too.
Yeah,
so they're
exactly.
going to have fewer resources.
So that you'd think that there's potentially some, you know, new adjacencies that WiseTech could build out in their product suite, which would help these freight forwarder and logistic companies provide solutions to their customers. Because clearly tariffs are going to stick. It's just what number they're going to be and for who, for what. So there could be there's even way to look at it. But again, like I agree with Mark, the price action to me, this stock should have been smashed in the last week, and it's actually slightly risen. I think the damage had already been done with some of the issues the company had gone through. It's a great business. So these are the sort of businesses. I could have listed 15 businesses that you want to buy at the moment. So, I know we narrowed it down to 2 here, but there's a lot more that you could do.
All right, and your view on CSL?
Is a buy. Yeah, I mean, CSL, the good thing is they've got a really diversified production base. So they produce a lot of stuff in Switzerland, Melbourne, all over. So there's not like that single tariff exposure. I think, to me, it seems like the tariffs are more aimed at pharmaceuticals, like pills, as opposed to blood. And again, like there is complete price elasticity. Like if you need blood, you need blood. And if you need plasma, you need plasma. If you're going to have an operation, you're not going to say, oh, it's 10% more expensive, I'll wait. So like the only issue for them is Seqirus, which is the flu division. They've got there's a Secretary of Health in America who doesn't believe in vaccinating and who clearly doesn't believe in flu shots. So that is a problem. But it's a global market. They go to Europe and Japan and Australia. So it's a part of a market for a fairly small part of the company's revenues.
He's not against vaccines necessarily.
I think
he's against the how loose the testing is.
He's walked it back.
Yeah, and he has walked it back.
Yeah.
Like, so it I've seen him because I thought very much the same thing because you can only get the out of context quotes, but he was more so having a shot at the FDA for loosening their standards basically. And I would expect a company like CSL, being the size that it is, would probably have those standards in anyway. So I think it's going to hurt the second string vaccines more than because they even got to a stage with some of the FDA approvals where you didn't even have to put in research results, where it was it was opinion. So I do agree a little bit about having to tighten up that approval process. Maybe you can make a secondary FDA approval or something for those, more, not so medical research, pills and etc. So I think it's just fear mongering at the minute, and that's the noise you need to filter out.
There we go. That's our 2 stocks of the day, 2 buys, as is the case this week: CSL and WiseTech.
The stock of the day was brought to you by IG. Turn volatility into opportunity this US earnings season with extended trading hours on over 110 key US shares. Get started at IG.com.